Hello everybody, welcome back to the Creative Spoonie YouTube channel. I'm going to do a fun unboxing. I went a little crazy on the Eden Brothers website. Initially I was just going to buy a few new varieties of Amaryllis, and they had packs of 5 for the same price as one bulb. So it ended up being a little more than $2 a bulb for most of these. When I found this, I was like, well, I gotta order some. Anyway, I was just gonna order 5 different varieties to add to my collection. I only have 2 different varieties right now. Last year was actually the first year that I grew Amaryllis, and I fell in love. So now I'm sort of addicted, like all things gardening. In the wintertime, when you can have something blooming in your house, a lot of people do paper whites, and that's like probably the most common thing. People get them as gifts. We were at Trader Joe's the other day, and this is a fun little thing. It's paper whites. It's one bulb, but it looks like it's going to have at least 3 stems. And they have multiple blooms on each head usually. But it came in this little bulb vase that I can reuse for another type of bulb, probably a hyacinth or more paper whites. $3.99. I mean, the little glass bulb vase is worth that. So I don't know about your Trader Joe's, but they always have fun planty things. Let's get into this haul. It came via FedEx, and it was fast. Big box bulbs usually on the smaller side. The ones you get from most companies are bigger. So you're going to get the more circumference on the bulb, you're going to get more blooms. Usually multiple stalks in one. And some varieties, I know there's at least one variety in here that has multiple bloom heads on each stalk. So that was actually interesting to me. So that's why I picked some of these. Also, I did go on the website. I'll post the little picture somewhere in here of the deal. They might have, yeah, last time I looked, they actually had one multi-pack available, but not at this deal. I'm going to make a big one for the island for now, and I'm probably going to make a big one for the living room and the master bedroom. So here, let's get into this haul. I've never bought this many Amaryllis before, obviously. Most people probably don't unless they plan on doing a lot of gifting. But once you start with Amaryllis, you'll see it's very easy to become addicted to them. Not only do they provide nice color and grow pretty easy, you can save them. The ones I had before, I just popped in the entry to our basement, tucked them right by the stairs, and it was dark and cooler than the regular house. So for the couple months that they were stored, I let the leaves die back. So before I put them in there, I let all the leaves like turn from green to brown. Put them in that basement entry, and when I was ready to pull them up, my friend actually texted me, like, have you ever had your Amaryllis rebloom? And I'm like, no, last year was the first year I did them. But as soon as I opened the door, I was like, oh, they're already sprouting. So simple. I gave them a little bit of bulb fertilizer, which you don't have to. I watered them in and put them in my office, which is right in front of the house. And they're sprouting more. So really excited. Very simple. You don't have to store them if it's not like your cup of tea to do it. I definitely wouldn't recommend throwing them away. I mean, you buy them, you perfectly well can, but depending on the zone you live in, after they bloom in the house in the winter, you can actually plant them outside or in a pot outside for the spring and summer. You can bring them back in, store them in a cool, dark place for a couple months, cooler, dry environment, pull them out, and they'll rebloom for you. And it's not hard, but if you don't want to go through all that, you just prefer to buy new ones every year, find somebody that wants the bulbs, give them to them. It's not a huge investment, but to throw something away that can rebloom, why not save it? Okay, let's get into this unboxing. This again is from EdenBrothers.com. I have ordered from them before, just not Amaryllis. I've never had an issue with them. The quality seems very good for the price. Here we go. We're going to get into this box. I just opened it. I got some seeds, of course. Yeah, a little thank you card in here. Eden Brothers, enjoy 20% off your next order. I always find a coupon. These I couldn't use a coupon for because obviously they were discounted so low that none of their coupons would apply. But yeah, I mean, dirt cheap for what I'm getting. I gotta put my glasses on. And I apologize for, they're always on my head. They weren't, but I apologize for crazy hairdo, but it is what it is. It's been either very damp and humid, or I just haven't felt up to, doing the old hairdo. I'm debating whether or not to get it cut again. I'm trying to let the gray grow in. Anyway, yeah, I got some Lysianthus seeds. I planted these too late last year. You start them in the house, and they take, I think it's like 5 months to get a bloom, depending on where you live. So I'm going to start them probably this weekend. I just got to bring in I'll have my husband bring in the shelves and the light racks and stuff. Even though it's a big house, I don't have a lot of extra separate space for like a grow room or something like that. So I have to make do and put it somewhere So for the months that I'm not using it, I haven't put it away. All right, so Lisianthus seeds. I got Voyage Champagne, and if I can find pictures, I will post them on here as well. Geranium seeds. I got Maverick Apple Blossom. I've never grown my own geraniums, but I've seen Laura from Garden Answer do it, and it seems super easy. Lisianthus seeds. Those ones are Black Pearl. Again, Lisianthus seeds Voyage Lavender, and Lisianthus seeds Roseanne Brown. If you haven't seen Lisianthus, they look similar to roses, but they're a multi-stem flowering annual. So beautiful, great cut flower. I think they last like 10 days in the vase. So yeah, with Amaryllis bulbs now. So these look great. Might be starting to sprout a little bit up there. So Amaryllis bulb Exotic Star, and I feel short for the size of this tall bulb. That's 2 exotic stars. There should be 5 of every one of these. Yeah, and these bulbs are firm. They look very healthy. And the tips are already a little bit green, so they're going to sprout perfectly fine once they get potted with some water. So yeah, 5 exotic stars. This one is White Nymph. The nymph ones, I believe, are a double blossom. This one has a little bit of color change, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I'll update how these bloom. It's 1, 2 white nymphs. Lots of bulbs in here. That's a cherry nymph. Another white nymph, so that's 3 white nymphs. They're nice and firm, and they're still cold, and they've, like I said, sat overnight in this box. When you order something and it ships very quickly, you have no idea how fast you're going to get it, and I didn't think I needed to be prepared yet. Okay. I got lots of nymphs because they're double blooms. I'm actually going to stand up so I can reach into the box. You might not see the top of my head. I apologize. All right, so that's 4 white nymphs, 5 white nymphs. Water them just to settle them in, and then don't water them again for like 10 or 12 days. You'll start seeing sprouts. That's when you want to water them again. So yeah, cherry nymph. Cherry nymph number 2. Cherry nymph number 3. Cherry nymph number 4 on the bottom. They packed them in lots of layers. See, the ones on the bottom are huge. All right, so cherry nymph number 5. And I mean, that's a good size bulb. And those ones on the bottom are very cold. There's no ice packing in here or whatever, but they probably stored them cold. Sweet nymph number 1. Sweet nymph number 2. Sweet nymph number 3. Ooh, and this one is starting to sprout. Nymph number 4. And this is what you're going to see. So once you get them planted, see it while you're here. But once you get them planted, and this one's even on the smaller side than some of the bulbs, most of the bulbs actually, but it's already sprouting some leaf growth right there. Definitely viable bulbs. And this is Sweet Nymph number 5. And that one's also got, it's hard to see because there's some dried from last year's growth, but there's actually some growth right there coming up to it. This is something you won't find at a big box store. Now these are Jumbo Royal Velvet. And like I said, I'll post pictures. That one also has a little growth tip coming out. That is a huge bulb. 1, 2, 3 growth points already. Obviously, I'm going to need a bigger decorative pot or something for these. They're huge. I mean, I can't even hold that to make an awesome display. And stuff like this gets me through the winter. You know, as we get older, if we don't ski or, you know, I don't even go sledding anymore because of my spine issues. But if you don't have a winter hobby that you like to do regularly, like snowmobiling, something like that, winter is just kind of, you know. Luckily, I don't have to shovel or anything like that. But yeah, it's not my favorite season other than I get to plan for next year's things that I'm growing. I grow seeds over the winter, stuff like that. But it's kind of like get cozy with the pets and just watch a movie kind of thing, you know. So try and get most of them planted up today, and it shouldn't be hard because a lot of them are going to be like 5 or 6 to a pot. And I'm just going to have a lot of color around the house, and I'm going to give some away. My husband brought me to Lowe's last night. They used to have, I don't know if you shop houseplants at all, but they used to have like the tiny little houseplants that were like $2.50 a piece. Now that same size is like $7.49. So wasn't about that. These pots are perfect for Amaryllis. So I got 2 of these poinsettias, or poinsettia. I don't know how people say that. This one, I believe it's some kind of nerve plant. They're not labeled. And then some spiders around. And there's multiple plants in each pot. So I'm going to pull these apart, reuse the pots for my arrangements, have a plant or two in around the Amaryllis. So like I said before, if you don't know, Amaryllis take a little while to put out their leaves and their bloom stalks. So in the meantime, you have something pretty to look at on the table or shelf, wherever you end up putting them. Poinsettias are toxic, like a lot of plants too. Cats and dogs. My dog doesn't touch any plants. These are going to be up high anyway. Cats, on the other hand, will go after these things. Our cat is too old now to jump on a counter, so he won't get into it. Now I have 25 bulbs, 5 different varieties. I have to plant them. So I'm going to work on that next. Appreciate you watching. I have a brand new channel. I'm doing a little bit of everything, kind of what I'm into on my good days. So if there's anything that if you want me to do like a Q&A video, if you have questions, I could certainly work on that. Submit your questions in the comments. Any type of video content you're interested in, yeah, stay tuned for potting up. And these are going to be beautiful. They'll probably even bring me into like a late winter, early spring, kind of like that, with some at least leaves. But where they have multiple blooms, usually, if you cut a bloom that's spent, you can even cut them and put them as cut flowers, and they'll last a little while in the vase. But I'd rather just enjoy the blooms in the arrangements that I make. And you don't have to make something fancy. You can just put a bulb or 2 in a pot and call it a day, and that's beautiful still. It's going to bloom. You kind of want bright, indirect light for them. On an island and a bright kitchen, that's perfectly fine. They'll be great here. I even put one on the darker north side of the house by a window and just open those blinds. That's plenty. That's all they need. Just bright, indirect light. But yeah, with some greenery around them, I think they're going to end up really pretty. And you can actually take something from outside, like sticks. I might go look for some branches, something like that, right around the yard. They tend to be top heavy. They sell little stakes you would use like little clips for. They sell those you can get for Amaryllis on Amazon and places like that. You want something that will support them as they grow. The 2 that I have from last year are actually in a 3-tiered plate stand, and I don't have any plates in it. But the pot's on the bottom level, and then there's 2 rings for where the plates would go, and that supports all the greenery and foliage, the flower stalks as they grow. So something like that. If you haven't watched Laura from Garden Answers Amaryllis video yet this year, she has pussy willow, like the shrub, in her yard. If I have room somewhere to plant one of those, I'm going to plant one of those. Beautiful, beautiful accent for floral arrangements for sure, but it looks nice in the yard too. She put them in the pot on one side and bent them over on the other side. She had like an arch with multiple stems of pussy willow branches in her Amaryllis pots. Gorgeous. I don't think it would work the same if you got some from Flores because they're already more dried. Hers were fresh. And these at Lowe's, these different arrangements were, I think, 1997, something like that. Actually, 1998. It's actually right there. And these are plastic pots, and there actually is drainage poked out, which is great. I think for the number of plants in these that you would pay separately for, and these pots that I can reuse, not a bad price. Especially where one little plant like this little greenery right here was almost $8 by itself. So good deals. I'm known for ripping things apart and making arrangements. Part of my Thanksgiving table display, I have these little bouquets that I bought from Michael's. You can get them anywhere. I'm on Amazon, get them anywhere, honestly. And I will pull the stems apart and cut them. And I make a lot of floral arrangements for like cemeteries, for family members, things like that. And that's what I do. I'll buy a bouquet because this bouquet regular price was $9.99. Half off is what I usually pay for bouquets like this. All the craft stores run half off or 40% off all the time. Also, if you have a good Dollar Tree, I mean, when I went yesterday, ours was wiped. There was no florals, a few picks and things. The whole health and beauty aisle was picked through. I mean, there was empty shelves everywhere. Depending on where you live and the Dollar Trees in your area, if they're well stocked, I know a lot of it now is health jobs that normally would be full are not anymore. If you have a good Dollar Tree, you can find things to make arrangements with, and $1.25. A lot of crafters that shop at Dollar Tree. So if there's a project you see on YouTube, you want to make it, go quickly to your local Dollar Tree or Dollar Tree stores, and look for those items because they will sell out. Sorry, good thing for editing. Hello? Well, it'll definitely be a part 2 because I'm going for a ride with my husband when he gets home. Think outside the box when you're trying to find things to make an arrangement. It's a little more work to pop these various plants out. I mean, you'd have to take it out of another pot if you're buying individual little plants as well. Part 2 will be at some point here, and I appreciate you watching all of my videos. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by. All the best.